Welcome back to Boring Reviews.
Boring land.
Oh, just kidding.
Blasphemer!
All
Hello,
right.
Boring Review Nation!
Kind of pointless.
We know all things.
All right, welcome back to Boring Reviews for another episode of Footy Friday.
Oh, I love it. I love it. No lag.
Nick here.
Gabe. I can't be the night watchman, so I got to find out, especially in the AFL, right? What kind of cool nicknames are there for players? You know what I'm saying? Because that's where I got the night
I got
watchman
one
from.
for you, man. Gabe the umpire.
Oh, no. Listen, blasphemer! How dare you, umpire? Let me tell you something.
You would love it.
Let me tell you
Don't hate on the AFL umpires, too.
I hate on all umpires, bro. Every single one. Every single one, okay? Throughout history. Matter of fact, even that dude that's like the arbiter at the spelling bee that the kids do, whatever, I hate that dude too.
Stop it.
You know why? Because the kids always say this, right? Can I get the country of origin? You know they're going to ask you for the country of origin. Just give it to them. I hate that dude too.
Sometimes they do. They say all the facts and they say, okay, and the kid still asks the question because he's trying to stall for time, he or she, and those kids are amazing.
Amazing.
But Footy Friday is all about the AFL. And if you know about Boring Reviews and learning about AFL, you know that we love footy. You know that I'm obsessed with it. And I got my man Gabe here to help me out with this one. And I was thinking, what would be a good AFL video as we are starting Footy Friday, as we are starting our reactions here, and the history of the teams of the AFL. I saw this video and I was like, oh, that's perfect. So I have not watched this video, neither has Gabe. I told him it was 3.5. It's actually almost 5 minutes long. But we're going to check this out and learn about the history of the teams from 1897. That's right. It's been around for a long time.
Wow.
To 2019. Super excited about this. This is from a channel called Matt N. Very unique. Don't forget. I almost said students. You can tell I'm a teacher. Don't forget, please. We need you guys to hit that subscribe button. Analytics show us that most people are not hitting the subscribe, but they're watching it and enjoying our videos. So hook us up. If you're enjoying it, hit that subscribe and go ahead and like the video as well. I'm not even going to start to ask you, all the teams of the AFL because I know about the Richmond Tigers. I think it's the Collingsworth or Collingwood maybe, Magpies. Those are the only two I know about.
Listen, negative. All I know is I was shocked, right? Because in one of our cricket streams not too long ago, somebody was like, cricket's not even that popular in Australia. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, yeah, that's why the Prime Minister lost his mind. You know what I'm saying? During Sandpaper Gate and all that stuff. Of course it's popular. But apparently AFL, is just,
huge.
It's huge, bro. It's just as big. Let us know in the comments if I'm wrong. But people are saying, nah, you know what? Cricket is huge, but it's not like it's the only sport that dominates the country. And apparently the AFL is very popular as well. Again, dating back to 1897, so that's a long time. Man, let's check this out.
Just these teams. It goes back to the 1850s for crying out loud.
Holy
Isn't
cow.
that crazy? All right, so we're going to go ahead and check this out. And here we go.
The AFL began life as the VFL, or the Victorian Football League, back in 1897. The inaugural season featured 8 teams, all located in one state. Carlton Blues, Collingwood Magpies, Essendon Bombers, Fitzroy Lions, Geelong Cats, Melbourne Demons, South Melbourne Swans, and St Kilda Saints, all of which are still a part of the AFL in 2019 in some shape or form. In 1908, the VFL expanded to 10 teams, with Richmond Tigers and University joining the league. While Richmond have gone on to become one of the biggest clubs in the AFL, University left the VFL just 6 years after they entered, finishing last in every season from 1911 to 1914, and losing 51 consecutive games.
Holy
the
cow.
VFL expanded again in 1925,
Gabe,
with the
for that
addition
too?
of the Footscray Bulldogs, Hawthorn Hawks, and North Melbourne Kangaroos, taking the total number of teams to 12. Incredibly, the league went unchanged for the next 57 years, but the 1980s and 90s saw a drastic period of change and evolution. In the early 80s, those in charge of the VFL were looking to expand outside of Victoria, and with many of the weaker teams struggling financially, change was needed. In 1982, South Melbourne relocated to Sydney in New South Wales. The Sydney Swans became the first non-Victorian team in the VFL. 5 years later, the interstate expansion continued with the addition of the West Coast Eagles from Western Australia and the Brisbane Bears from Queensland.
And the crowd down. The AFL hoping for about 20,000. I doubt that they've got it, despite perfect weather. Not a bad kick.
Yes.
Harris has done up. The Bears get their
Nice
first
hat.
goal in VFL football. And what a great start for them.
With 3 non-Victorian teams now in the league, the VFL changed its name to the AFL, Australian Football League, in 1990 to represent its more national status. Further expansion occurred in 1991, with the first team from South Australia, the Adelaide Crows, joining the AFL. 1992 saw a historic moment, with the West Coast Eagles becoming the first non-Victorian team to win the premiership. The Eagles had been a huge success since their inception in 1987, and as a result, the AFL decided to further expand with a second Western Australian team entering the league in 1995, the Fremantle Dockers. Naturally, a fierce rivalry developed between the two sides.
Oh yeah, that's a fierce rivalry, all right. Oh! Get it! Get it! Oh! There we go! Oh!
He's going in. Oh, he's not giving up. He's like, give me something.
Oh! He smacked him! Oh, man!
Those one guy's jerseys look like slushies.
By
The
1996,
blue and the red.
many of the smaller Victorian clubs were still struggling financially, and with further expansion on the AFL's agenda, it was decided that a Victorian team must make way. Many possibilities were discussed, including a possible merger between Hawthorn and Melbourne, but this ultimately wouldn't pan out. It became clear the Fitzroy Lions would not be able to continue on its own, and at season's end, they merged with the Brisbane Bears to become the Brisbane Lions. The merger opened the gates for the Port Adelaide Power to join the AFL in 1997, the second team from South Australia following the Adelaide Crows in 1991. Much like the Eagles and Dockers 2 years earlier, a strong rivalry was born between the Crows and Power. The AFL saw no further expansion over the next decade. In the late 2000s, the AFL became interested in the idea of a second Queensland-based team, with the Gold Coast being the desired destination. Serious consideration was given to the idea of relocating North Melbourne to become the Gold Coast Kangaroos. North Melbourne insisted on staying in Victoria, however, so the AFL decided to create an entirely new expansion team, and in 2011, the Gold Coast Suns entered the league.
He fumbles, he gets around the opponent and runs in and kicks the first goal in the Gold Coast history.
The next year, the AFL expanded further into rugby league territory, with the Greater Western Sydney Giants becoming the second team in New South Wales. In 2019, the AFL consists of 18 teams located in 5 states across Australia. The Northern Territory, ACT and Tasmania are the only states or territories without their own team. Many believe that a Tasmanian team will enter the league over the next 5 to 10 years.
Very cool. That was a cool video.
That was a really cool video. Very informative.
Yeah.
I'm like, why the VFL? Because all the teams were originally in Victoria, right? And then they went to AFL because the Australian football team, the Australian Football League, obviously, they want to represent all Australia. I think that expansion teams are always, the traditionalists, the original teams, usually are very resistant to the expansions. You know what I mean? But especially if you're the home team that loses their team, you know what I'm saying? It's all right, but I don't want to be the one to sacrifice my team. But you need it in order to grow the game. You know what I'm saying? And like, for instance, right now in the IPL, they're getting ready to expand and add 2 more teams. Crazy. You've got too much talent not being used. You might as well expand. And the more you can expand, the more games can be played. I did find it funny where the guy goes, they were hoping for 20,000. It doesn't look like they're going to get it. It don't look like there's 200 people in there, not 20,000. Just saying. But, I don't think. Can you think of an expansion team in the NFL? When's the last time an expansion team in the NFL actually failed? I mean, dude, it's king, man.
No, I can't think of any team. I think the most recent expansion team was the Jaguars, right? And the Panthers, I think in 95 or something like that. And the Jaguars went on to go to the AFC Championship like 2 years later under your boy Tom Coughlin. So, no, you think about baseball, right? You had the Rays and the Diamondbacks come in around 96, 98 or something like that. Right. And the Rays, the Devil Rays originally, they were just horrible for so long. Right. And then once they finally get into the World Series, they lost in 2005, whatever it was. they've been really good since.
Right.
The Diamondbacks, they won the World Series 3 years after their
The
inception.
expansion, right.
So it seems like these the Marlins, right? The Marlins from and the Rockies from the from baseball as well were expansion teams in the 90s. So it's expansion teams for me as a fan are exciting.
Right.
Okay, the tough thing though, like in NHL, and I think it's the same with the IPL, is and other sports. When you have that expansion team, all the teams suffer because they can only protect so many players. And then that new expansion team can take from what's left over.
Yeah.
And so when the Golden Knights were an expansion team not too long ago here in
Right.
Vegas, and they go to the Stanley Cup in their first year, right? Everyone's like, oh, it's because of the draft. Oh, it's because of the expansion draft. It's not fair. You could have protected your players.
I mean, what are you supposed to do? If you're going to have an expansion team,
Those
you
are the
got to
rules.
put good product out there. Because what you're going to
Yes.
do, just put trash?
No.
You're going to put a whole bunch of guys that wouldn't have got drafted on the other teams?
Look at the Houston Texans, right?
Exactly. So I don't understand that argument. I understand, again, a fan saying, oh, we lost. We had him. They go and win a championship for somebody else. You did have him. You could have protected him. But you can't protect everyone on your team. And I think that's the way to do it because, again, the idea of an expansion team is to grow the sport. And in order to grow the sport, you want to put a good product. Listen, people will get behind a winning team. If it doesn't win, listen, it's going to be troublesome. It's going to be troublesome. And I think that, it's funny, I can't say the Raiders are an expansion team, but the Raiders came to Las Vegas, and even the Raiders, started winning games, and people were excited. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get in the stadium because it was closed.
Could you imagine?
Could you have imagined? Exactly, man.
They sold out the season tickets in like a day or two.
Something crazy like that.
And they couldn't get we have friends and colleagues and whatnot that know someone that's got season tickets or got suite tickets already because their business or whatever. People were so excited. Not to get too far off track with this, what we've got to figure out who our AFL teams are. We've been doing it so far in cricket. And I'm just going to say, I had to stumble at first, but I've done a pretty good job since then.
Oh, this guy.
But we've got to choose our teams, right? The season starts pretty soon. And, full disclosure, I'm probably going to be checking out some games. Gabe, he's got like a million jobs. He does cricket, so we're not sure exactly if we can get him on as many games as I can do. And I'm probably not going to be able to do a whole bunch of games because I'm also doing cricket, but we've got to choose our teams. If you want to see a video just of us choosing our teams, let us know in the comment section. We'll do a video just for that where whatever team he chooses, the fans are going to be like, no!
I was just thinking, bro. You
Break
open
the
up
heart.
the envelope, everybody's like, please don't. No!
There's actually been a few comments on the last video I did. You guys check it out on the Break the Fall, where people are like talking, I hate this team. Hey, let's have Gabe choose them. Yes! The other person says no!
Bro.
The audience is awesome.
Oh, man, it was hilarious last night, man. We get that huge win, Australia versus New Zealand, 68 runs.
Congrats,
Hold
my
that,
friend.
cousin. And I was like, yes, finally, the drought. Because it was like a 5-game drought. They lost, 3 straight against India, right, in Australia. And then they had lost the first 2 to New Zealand. It was like, I was thinking I would never see another win, bro. I was like.
Not in 2021? Well, you don't have to worry about that because Australia showed up big time. Agar. Oh, who's this Agar? 6 wickets later. But, that was my impression of the whole audience, not Gabe. But we want to know what you think about this video. Do you want to have us do a team selection video? Let us know what are some other videos for Footy Friday. Thank you so much for checking us out. And until next time.
I don't have a catchphrase. You know what I mean? What is it when they kick it up through the uprights? It's 4 runs.
It's a goal.
It's a goal, right?
6 runs.
Is it 6 runs too?
Or 6 points. I'm not sure if it's runs or points.
You know what?
You can just do this. That's the signal for the 6.
All right. Go ahead. Tune me up again.
Here we go. Until next time.
I don't have a catchphrase. And we're leaving it in.
Let us know in the comment section what's your catchphrase. Thanks, guys. Adios.